actually quite amazed by this, because I thought we were a nation that didn't complain. I certainly don't complain. But why do you think there's been an increase in people complaining now? Because it's a very un-British thing to do. I mean, we moan. You know, we'll say it because we'll be sitting there having a meal. So you and I are sitting having a meal, right? And this is rubbish, blah, blah, blah. And then the waiter comes, oh, no, it's fine. It's lovely.
But that's the whole thing. We don't complain, but we just wouldn't go back.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think the point is now, I think the economic situation has changed. I don't think people can afford to just sit back anymore. And I think likewise with businesses, they can't afford to just sit back either. And I think if customers don't complain, then people running the company, they're not actually going to get to know that there are any problems.
But we used to just go and bear it.
We did, and that was what we were known as this nation of going, no, it's fine, really, I like my steak done like this, you know, inedibly. But, I mean, two things have changed. You're quite right, the economic situation has changed, and, you know, we go out, we spend our hard-earned money, we want something which is what we wanted to pay, you know, what we paid for.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that's changed is our awareness of our rights and our awareness that we can complain and we can get refunds or whatever, and I think that's perhaps crept over from the States, probably, where they were much more aware than us. And quite rightly so, you know, your consumer rights are important. You know, it's your money. You should be getting what you pay for. But I think we should do it with humour. I think there should always be a little bit of humour. And what you were saying about doing it for the good of the company, I think is also quite interesting, you know, to say, look, I'm not moaning and I'm not complaining.
But you need to know
you should know that there's a problem here,
no,
blah, blah, blah.
But interestingly, you don't actually even send an email. You do it all by hand, don't you?
I do. I'm very old-fashioned like that. I do.
You've got loads of time on your hands.
Well, sadly not. And I think rather than getting all het up, which is very easy to do, I think you're far more likely to get taken seriously.
Yes.
And bear in mind, I think we need to bear in mind the size of the company as well. If it's a multinational, million-pound company, I think that's very different to approaching a small independent shop run by one person. You know, if there's a genuine mistake, you can go in and tell them. But it can destroy a company, a very small company, actually, if a lot of people go in. Sure. And we're not talking about complaining in a reasonable way, but we all know the buying an item of clothing and taking it back once it's worn. You know, I was talking to somebody earlier in the green room, you know, about this, and he was saying that's fraud, basically. If you buy an item, you wear it and take it back and say, oh, I've never worn it. So there's that side to this culture of compensation and complaint and returns, which needs to be.
But you do it with humour and do it in a very sort of reasonable way, which is what you do.
I do try and do that. I think it's very important to do that, yes.
And the good news is that, according to all this research, we're not the worst queue jumpers either. There is some hope.
We're not. We can't. No, that would be
We're second behind the Germans.
That would be the end of Britain. If we start queue jumping, that's it. It's all over.
The end of the world.
Exactly. Oh, no, we can't have that. Thank you both very much indeed. Thank you. Right, let's get a look at the weather.